President Trump has called on Europe to carry a greater share of the burden for our own defence, and he is right to do so. The UK has always been a leading light on defence spending, but the world is changing, and in these dangerous, uncertain times, it is clear that we have needed to go further. That's why we've committed £298 billion over the next 4 years, including an additional £15 billion on top of last year's spending review settlement. At the recent NATO summit, all members reaffirmed our commitment to 3.5 by 35. I'm acutely conscious of the impact these numbers have on your investment decisions, and I'm committed to providing you with clarity and confidence. For now, I'm pleased to say that in the 10 days after the publication of the DIP, we agreed more than £11.8 billion worth of contracts. Defence is up and flying again.
Did you see that? Did you?
Happy Socialist Sunday, comrades. Welcome to the stream. I'm your humble host, Lefty. Hope you're all good. Yes, welcome to the Sunday live stream here on My Left Eye. Do hit thumbs up as you join us on stream, people. Got a lot to bring you this evening. And it's excellent to start off the stream with a gifted membership as well. Once again from Idiosyncrasy. Thank you very much, Idio. Much appreciated. I will update the membership goal. Always nice to start a stream in that fashion. Thanks again. Can we big up Idiosyncrasy in the chat, please, people? And thanks for throwing up the Palestine flags early on as well. clockenders, hope you enjoy your perks. We have Oromai in the chat as well, Guitar Guy. Yeah, thanks for the pointer on the typo there. I'll be having words with Philip about that one. Jamie Alice, nice to see you. Darren, 2. Doc is in the house. Germ M, good evening to you. Timbleton Davis just coming in there as well. Good evening, one and all. Thanks for choosing to see out the week. Another news-packed week, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Action-packed, whatever. We'll be going over what we can of it from Manchester here in the UK. If this is your first time joining us on a stream, very welcome. We are actually very pleased to say we are just 3 subscribers shy of getting to 6.1 thousand subs now, having recently surpassed the 6,000 mark. So if you aren't subscribed and you're listening for the first time, do smash the subscribe button to help us get over that fractional goal, as it were. We're just back to membership goal as well. Idiosyncrasies gifted membership excuse me, takes us up to 109 now, and this is a list of everybody currently a member. Thank you very much for renewing and gifting to others, of course. You might want to consider a membership package for yourself. It's just 99 British pence. People, that's a fraction of the price of a tasty hot beverage. We have a back catalogue of exclusive content. You get static emojis on streams, you get first time viewings on some of our video content as well. A whole host of things there in the package, so do check that out. That's the preferred method as we expand the community as well. Thank you very much, everybody. Super chat's also open, as well as super stickers if you're watching live. Super thanks if you're watching back later on. If you're unable to contribute via YouTube for technical reasons, whatever, we do have a Buy Me a Coffee page. If that's more to your preference, do check out the link in the description of any content on the stream, or on the channel. Thank you very much. And do check out some of our recent content as well. Hype it if you can, thumbs up, hype button if you're watching on a mobile device. Yes, we recently released the Bin Face Gallery to the masses. We are actually going to be seeing that on tonight's stream for anybody who's not seen it, but it's available in video form as well. The most recent video on the stream. Quite a few of you have seen that actually. It's had a few thousand views. We do appreciate that. Thanks again for sharing and stuff and commenting. Do make sure that you're set to live chat instead of top chat if you're with us in real time, or before the stream ends at least. Thank you, good people.
Socialists. Oh my god.
I'd be remiss as well, of course, if I didn't thank Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics, the background jazz quartet, for their Sunday accompaniment, as usual. We've actually had a few changes. This is actually sort of the start of a new Sunday live stream era, in a way. Because, yes, alas, there will be no Keith's Fondue Lounge on tonight's stream. Now that Keith's gone, that was the longest running feature on My Left Eye live streams, actually, I believe. There will be suitable replacement, we're hoping, but yeah, it's going to be strange. In fact, normally on Sunday live streams I have to refrain from talking about what's coming up before we get into the lounge, which is quite easy to do, you know. People bring up things in chat or whatnot. But not this week. because Burnham's in. We'll be taking a look at Burnham a little bit. He has recorded an interview with Laura Kussenberg. It's not come out in full yet, but there have been a couple of snippets which we'll take a look at. Of course, the Kussenberg show in full is normally on Sunday mornings, but they must have been doing that instead. That'll be out tomorrow, so we'll be doing a full in-depth look when it's released in full. But for now, just a couple of snippets from the upcoming interview that they've teased us with. So I guess I'll go on to describe what's coming up on stream without the Keith's Fondue Lounge background music, which will be a bit odd. It's almost sad to see Keith go because of that. Almost. Yes, but his replacement isn't much better as well. A few other well-known figures have been throwing their 2 cents into Burnham's first week in office and his cabinet choices as well. Speaking of which, we'll be looking at the returning Ange from round our way, Rayner, former Queen of the North, that position now firmly held by Hannah Spencer, of course. Go Greens.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
So straight away, Rayner more or less giving us a hint at what to expect. One of the things, of course, being the confirmation that there will be no rent controls as part of Labour's policy, plus a couple of other bits concerning our Ange, as it were. We've also got hot seats, of course, the latest with the Manchester mayoral race coming to a conclusion next week. Things are hotting up. How do things look for the Greens in what's expected to be a 3-way or a 3-horse race? Got a few bits and pieces. Of course, looking at Clacton again. Really looking forward to that one. Still not decided which I'd like to see the most, actually, whether I'd be obviously biased with the Greens and a Coggins victory, but a bin-face winning Clacton to see off Farage would be very satisfying as well. But that's not how politics works. We're not given a binary choice, are we? Let's hope for a positive result in both of those. We do have an episode of Stop the Press coming up as well. We'll be taking a quick look or critique at the mainstream media. Relatively new feature, that one. Just a bit about the P.O.V. I won't give any spoilers where that's concerned. Well, like I said, there is quite a lot to come up. We'll be going over to the States as well. Not like that's figuratively, of course. I'm not in the departure lounge during the stream. And yes, I'm on the plane now. They're just going through the safety exercises whilst I do fucking whatever. No, but seriously, Trump's made this statement yesterday, supposedly tongue-in-cheek. We're not certain how tongue-in-cheek it is, saying that he'll be running for election again. Mathematically inaccurate statements, as it turns out. I'm sure that a lot of you will have seen this clip already, but I'll be throwing in my 2 cents where that one's concerned. Staying in the States as well, Zoran Mandani, the mayor of New York, has also made an explicit statement concerning how he feels about Benjamin Netanyahu and his current warrant/arrest status, as it were, with the International Criminal Court, plus a whole bunch more, including a couple of comedy clips, the first of which will be coming up in just a moment. And breathe. Okay. Everybody got that? I hope you were making notes as I went along there. There will be a test at the end. No, there won't be a test. Life's a big enough test as it is. What do you say, people? So we'll get straight on with things.
On with it. Yes, get on with it.
Get on with it!
First comedy clip coming from somebody who features fairly regularly now on My Left Eye live streams. Claire Blackwood. Excellent impressions of Caroline Levitt, of course, the US spokes for the Trump administration. This is the latest one concerning a bit of a PR stunt that Trump did in America recently. Shout out to all of our American viewers here on My Left Eye as well. Solidarity from Normal Island here. There's a link in the description. Highly recommend you check out Claire Blackwood's YouTube channel and subscribe if you're not familiar already. Let's see what's happening.
Good afternoon, White House press corps. I am sad to see that the explosive diarrhea lettuce hasn't gotten to you yet. Yesterday, as you all know, President Trump hosted the Los Angeles Dodgers at the White House in celebration of their 2025 World Series win against the Toronto Bluebirds. The series lasted exactly one game before the Canadian team cried, "We surrender," before the might of America, and prostrated themselves in front of Shohei Ohtani, the greatest player from the Islamic Republic of Japan. However, I have heard that...
Oh, excellent. I'm not too familiar with US sports stars of that particular category, I do have to say.
Many of you have criticized the Dodgers for visiting with Mr. Trump, saying that they betrayed their terrible state and their fan base, many of whom are illegal immigrant aliens and people from Latin American countries we haven't invaded yet. Let me be clear. The Dodgers coming here was not political. Their manager Dave said so himself. Just because they shook hands with the president and laughed with the president and took pictures smiling with the president as he talked about his brilliant accomplishments and how stupid Joe Biden was, and also something about baseball, does not make their actions political. If I took a smiling picture giving a thumbs up next to a statue of Hitler, that does not mean I love Hitler. It means I am honored to have been invited to stand next to a statue at all. That's how that works. And just because these famous athletes with money, influence, and most importantly, free will, chose to stand beside our great commander-in-chief like little muscly sports soldiers in his New World Army, despite him bombing Venezuela or deporting people from their own communities, does not mean that they know what politics means. They just hit balls with sticks. You can't expect them to know what a felony, a sexual assault, or a Jeffrey Epstein is. Politics is defined as not sports, or music, or art, or literature, or anything else that forces Americans to look at how everything around you is shaped by political decisions and the politicians that you support and vote for. But mostly not sports. So leave the Dodgers alone. Stop criticizing them. Stop talking about any of this. Besides, if the president had been Kamala Harris, I'm sure the Dodgers all would still have come here yesterday. That was a joke. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to attend a meeting about hunting down Kike Hernandez and making him kiss President Trump's new World Series ring in penance for not attending yesterday's very non-political event. Thank you.
Claire Blackwood, link in the description. Check it out. Awesome stuff. There. Great. Great parody. Love it. Thank you, Herbie. Well, we do have to get on to serious matters now, people.
We're not fucking about here. Do you understand?
Yes, first, what's first? It's Burnham, of course. He's had a week. And what's it look like? Well, he's opened number 10 to North, of course, which I guess we'll kick off with because, yeah. There's been a lot of hoo-ha about this. He did a sort of PR stunt outside the building, which one it is? It's Nelson House, I think, in town. And these banners and a new sort of northern cabinet room, as it were, in the pictures. But the point is, people, it would take a lot longer than a week to organise that sort of thing. Not just the decorations inside this cabinet room, the lighting and these banners, this 10 North branding that he's now been throwing about the place. The lease on the building itself must have been acquired weeks, if not months ago, which just illustrates how much of an obvious coup this was. And obviously no contest whatsoever. So this was all planned for a very long time, of course. Yeah. Doesn't add up. And from there, Laura Kossenberg's done an interview with Burnham today. It's not been released in full till tomorrow, but we do have a couple of snippets to digest in the meanwhile. So first, this is on whether Burnham's going to call a general election, because of course all he's had to do to become Prime Minister is win a by-election in Makerfield. That's hardly a national mandate at all. So that's something that Kossenberg's going to be talking about in the first one. Let's see what's happening. There she is. 300 plus grand a year.
You coming to power will be the biggest change this country's seen in 4 decades. Thing is, 25,000 people voted for you in Makerfield. The 48 million people in the electorate in this country haven't had a chance to have a say on any of your plans. Do you rule out having a general election before 2029?
There is no early general election. And the thing I would say to you is 20 plus, how many million people you just mentioned, voted for a manifesto. We're in a parliamentary democracy. So that is what people voted for. And
You've just voted the Prime Minister out for failing to follow up on that democracy. I'm not going to use the dreaded D word myself. I try and avoid it like the plague. You know the one I'm talking about, regular viewers. But no, this isn't any sort of democracy by any sort of measure, Andrew.
I said to you earlier in this interview that I will honour that manifesto. And, you know, obviously I have faced the public in Makerfield. At the time I stood forward in the by-election, people would say, oh my goodness, that constituency voted reform in May, that's a risk. I went and faced the public and I went out onto those doorsteps. So, you know, I have done that. I've got the support of colleagues in Parliament, and it's a parliamentary democracy that we're in.
Rule it out?
Well, I'm going to rule it out. Yeah, there's no early general election. I don't think people want it. You know, the opinion polls might say there's some people do, some people don't. But the thing is, I just think what I most need to do is get Britain focused on getting the.
It's just going to, what, you want to join the long list of unelected prime ministers that we've had, not just recently, of course, with Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss, Theresa May, going back a bit further, people like Callaghan. Callaghan was not elected. That's more relevant to Labour, of course. He's just going to be another one in that list. He hasn't got what it takes to win the next election for Labour.
Country back where it should be, getting it working.
So he's ruled that one out. Get Britain working again. More vacuous, hollow nonsense. So let's check out the second one. This is about Donald Trump, how he's going to respond to Donald Trump. Burnham, of course, has celebrated his first week in office with a few online videos and things like this. One of them trying to point out 5 great things I've done in my first week, of course, forgetting to mention ruling out rent controls, as well as still allowing Donald Trump to use our RAF bases. And I'd love to know what you think of this, people, if you've not seen it already. Basically, he tries to pretend as though he hasn't heard about Donald Trump. He doesn't know his reputation. He doesn't know what the UK is being complicit in, not just in those attacks on Iran, but also elsewhere in the Middle East, of course. Let's see what's happening with this one. It's not too impressive. Burnham.
Do you think that you can trust Donald Trump?
Well, I've had one phone call, and I always...
He's had one. All he knows about Donald Trump is from this one phone call, excuse me, that he's had with him. He doesn't know him by reputation. He doesn't know him as a corrupt sex offender, a felon, a fraudster, an absolute piece of crap, a liar, a financial and political bully. He doesn't know him by any of those standards whatsoever. He hasn't heard of the MAGA movement at all, or the Epstein files. Just one phone call, that's all he knows.
Treat people as I find them, and it was a good exchange.
He treats them as he finds them. Do you find him to be any of the things that I just mentioned up to this point? You haven't had the wherewithal to come to the conclusion that he is all of those things that I just listed a couple of moments ago. No? Because some of them stand out clear as day, like a sore thumb. You can't avoid what Donald Trump is, as prolific as he's been in his political career. Seriously? You're going to gauge what you think about Donald Trump from one brief phone call, congratulatory phone call that you've had from him, as a sort of procedure or pleasantry, as it were. Before you jump to any conclusions, get real, Burnham. If you're going to play down who this man is straight away, then we'll just put that on the more of the same pile, I think, along with Keith. Yes, Keith, let me get those papers for you, Master Starmer. You dropped your papers, Master. I'll help.
I will judge as I find, and I found him to be really warm on Monday, but obviously...
Warm? What? Well, just because he's recently soiled himself, Andrew.
Obviously, you know, we will continue to build a relationship as we go forward.
But as things stand, you're not sure at this stage that you can place your trust in him as a fellow leader.
It's a changing world, isn't it? And you just have to...
You see, she is kind of asking the right questions, pressing a little bit here to her credit. I'll give fair, analysis of Kussenberg when it's due. I do detest her generally as a broadcaster, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to give her the credit for following up. But then you often see her nodding along with the follow-up explanation, which is maybe as far as she'll ever take it, and then she'll let it go to get on to the next question. The thing about Kussenberg is, and there is another video on the news page that I didn't get hold of because it is just so Kussenbergy, the camera on her and the ego running all the time as she whispers, that just behind this door is the new Prime Minister Andy Burnham and all of this stuff, and she's got this exclusive interview, and it's called the Laura Kussenberg interview, as though she sees herself as some epic, timeless reporter like the, historical greats that we've had here in Britain, maybe like Parkinson or one of those old TV shows, or maybe like whatever in the States. But it's just all about her, really. And that's so evident. So don't just nod along with his follow-up answer and then move on. You've really got to keep on top of him and not give him such a soft ride. Because all she wants to do is put Burnham on the list of prime ministers and other politicians that she's interviewed for the CV, really. Oh, well, I do politics, me. I've interviewed fucking Theresa May.
Obviously call things as they develop. And I can't at any point say that I won't take a different opinion from him, that I will need to voice a different opinion that is right for Britain, and I will do that. My strength always is in remaining close to people. Man.
What happened? God, will you fucking take your balls out of someone else's purse and put them on for a moment and stand up to Donald Trump like you really should, like every politician in the world should, and just say no. You've got to put your foot down and say that we're not going to participate in these illegal attacks that started off, lest ye forget, people, with the bombing of a school, which murdered entire classes of children and almost 70 people in total. Now confirmed to have been carried out by the United States after much hoo-ha and denial and jumping through hoops. Now 100% certified to have been carried out by the United States, by planes that took off from UK Air Force bases, and that brings shame on our nation. It's nothing for us to be proud of, and certainly not something that should continue. Burnham, with the tent north thing in the background, freaking hell. And there's no devolution here. Yeah, he just doesn't want to have to travel down to London like half or more of the cabinet don't.
Close to the public. That will not change because I'm
going to go down there and give him a piece of my mind. Don't you worry about that, people.
Prime Minister.
So you'd be willing to call Donald Trump out if you think that's the right thing?
Of course. I mean, you've got to go into this. All leaders have to do that. You have to defend your own national interest before anything else. That's what you're required to do.
What does that mean? No, you don't. And I hate that phrase. I really do. Interest. Look at what Israel's interests are. Look at what the United States of America's interests are when you hear about this, protecting the United States of America and her interests. Her interests are going around the world and stealing fucking oil and land at the cost of many, many lives and much other chaos and destruction. So if that's what you're interested in, then no, you can fuck off, because it's just such a broad term that it could mean literally anything. Genghis Khan had interests. Fuck me.
If you're to do this job properly, I will always put Britain's interests first.
She does politics, her, Laura Kussenberg. There, we'll be checking out the full version of those interviews either tomorrow or Tuesday. I hope we can squeeze in a stream tomorrow. Smith, nice to see you in chat. Fun as well, and Adam Gordon just joining us. Nice to see you. Solidarity, everybody. Just bring in Heavy Ranger again. And how many times can I say it? I can't believe she's on over £300,000 a year. £300,000 a year. Oh. They're to write her articles where, she's there on the banner, of course. Her picture has to be there on the banner with her arms folded in a shocking pink blazer, trying to look all serious and contemplative. Really is dross. Yeah. You're better off here with my left eye, that's for certain. Yes, Idio, weak, very poor indeed, from Kussenberg.
Very poor indeed, ladies and gentlemen.
But we'll get some more response to Burnham and his cabinet now. Just before we do though, this there's been something at the back of my mind about this number 10 North thing. It reminds me of a different scenario. And I just can't place it, like the sort of, you know, he's obviously pretending that Downing Street is now in Manchester, or part of it is this number 10 North concept, and I just can't quite place it. It really is doing my head in, to be honest. It's, I mean, somewhere...
This is RAF Mildenhall, but it's actually Egypt. When you enter the base, you left Britain and you pass through US jurisdiction and into this container, which is internationally recognized as the sovereign territory of Egypt. You are now in Egypt.
That's what it is, that's the one. I won't actually say where that's from. I'll let you give your shout-outs in the chat, if you like. But that's what number 10 North reminds me of course. It's so obvious. So whether you're watching from Egypt or Manchester, which is in fact in London now apparently, we'll get on to Angela Rayner next, who has besmirched our region. In Manchester, of course, she's a fellow Mancunian. With the confirmation that there will be no rent controls during her time. Of course, she's bounced back into cabinet after shamelessly quitting as Deputy Prime Minister following financial scandal surrounding a house of her own. If it were, it's kind of ironic that she's now in charge of housing after that. So she didn't pay the stamp duty on a second home. Of course, she now officially on paper lives in, is it Bristol? Is that where it was? And now she's in charge of housing. Andrew Luke, Bilderberg. Nice to see you in chat. So yes, if you rent your accommodation, not great news. A lot of people were hoping for rent controls. It was, of course, something that Burnham hinted at himself, and it's not taken him very long at all to U-turn on that one. Let's see what's happening.
That commitment was very challenging before when I came into government. Has it just been dropped? It's certainly got more challenging, and we've seen things like construction costs go up, etc., which has had a real...
So it's Brighton, not Bristol. I do get the two confused sometimes. Thanks a lot for confirming in the chat there, Bilderberg. So she started off with the, oh, you know, we knew that this was going to be a challenge. It was going to be a problem, wasn't it? You know, what can we do?
Negative impact on that, but I'm not dropping it. I'm just saying that it is a really difficult stretch target. It's like me saying I'm going to run the London Marathon in under 5 hours.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Because they already have rent controls or sort of similar legislation in other countries as well, including in parts of the United States of America as well. So don't come that.
That would be a real challenge for me, but I'd do it. You know, it is. Look, I am straight talking. 1.5 million homes is a difficult target.
And the 1.5 million homes thing as well. How many have they built so far? I think it was about 100,000, or maybe 150, if I'm being generous. Still way off target when you consider that they're halfway through the term. 1.5 million homes means that they should be at approximately 700,000 by now, at least 750,000. But don't think that they're going to get anywhere near that target. As confident as Rayner feels, this is terrible. And in just the first week,
it was when I made the target. But I'm going to keep the target, and I'm not going to be defeated. And the one thing I will say is that people have underestimated me all my life. And if you tell me that I can't do something, I'll go hell-bent.
Yeah, when you actually, you know, defeated, you try and make it all about you and, oh, I'm so strong and I'll battle through this and blah, blah, blah. Don't actually explain how you're going to get towards the target, how you're going to reach this 1.5 million. Just make it all about you and having to have confidence in you. Oh, no one can stop me. You know, that's just hubris. That's just ego talk. That's not saying how you're going to solve a problem. And it's nowhere near good enough. And it's a shame to see that Angela Rayner's slid down to that level. Didn't take too long after Starmer took over, to be honest. Probably on the promise of a, you know, position as deputy. And not just that, got a article as well here. So excuse my dry throat this evening. I'm going to top up my drink. That's better. Of course, she's come back into the cabinet, as I mentioned, as I'm sure most of you are aware. When she left the cabinet, she was in fact given quite a hefty severance payment as well. And being the good, honest socialist that she is in fact not going to be repaying that money after making her return. So after a brief holiday with pretty much full pay, she comes back in to the cabinet and makes a profit off of it as well. Pretty tidy. We won't watch the clip, I'll just have a quick skim through here. We've got a lot to get through. 16,876 British pounds to be precise. The flat in Hove was worth £800,000. She didn't pay stamp duty on it. A total of £450,000 were paid in severance packages to the front bench. Quality candidates, of course, people. So that's 25% of the annual ministerial salary. For some reason, departing ministers who are aged over 65 or are appointed back within 3 weeks do not qualify. But she was out for a lot longer than that. The gravy train continues. And what was really insulting as well, just heard in one clip of another interview that she laughed off the whole stamp duty thing with this, oh, well, just make sure you've got a decent solicitor kind of thing, ha ha ha. And the interviewer or host laughing along as well. It just, you know, makes your stomach churn, doesn't it? Because that is, of course, our 16,000 that she's enjoying herself to there. That's the Member of Parliament for Ashton-under-Lyne here in Manchester, Angela Rayner. Ooh. Found someone who makes glasses look stupider, Andrew Lucas. Yeah, Angela Rayner didn't used to wear glasses, did she? Don't know if that's a sort of image thing, or if she genuinely needs them as being prescribed. The glasses. Prescribed, that is, not proscribed, like Pal Action were. Yeah, and Jamie Ellis, she did soon jump ship. Once the coup against Corbyn was complete. Speaking of which, we'll hear from someone who now needs no introduction what he thinks about another new member in, or sort of shuffled member in the cabinet, Ed Miliband. Of course, matters concerning Israel's occupation and genocide of Palestine now sit on his desk, so Jeremy Corbyn wants some answers from Miliband. Let's see what's happening.
It's a genocide. Call it what it is. Ed Miliband is the new Foreign Secretary.
Yeah.
The statement he made was beyond disappointing, because I got the feeling it'd been written before he'd been appointed, actually, by the Foreign Office.
Yeah, he basically said that Russian invasion to Ukraine, but when he spoke about Gaza, he described it as Middle East, and then he said, talking about Gaza as like terrible suffering of the Gazan. So that's it. That's everything. There is no genocide, no occupation, nothing at all.
Well, if he's...
Yeah, what they don't say is just as telling us what they do say. And when they omit words like that, you know that they're absolutely on the dodge.
If he thinks the issue is a conflict between Israel and Palestine, that suggests that there's some kind of war of equals and equal powers.
Exactly.
It's not. It's an occupation of people's land. It's a destruction of people's lives. It's a genocide. Call it what it is. Occupation and genocide.
And he did not mention Israel at all as Israeli genocide, war crimes, the war criminals under the ICC.
I'm a born optimist, but also I'm realistic about what we're going to get out of it. And so that means we've got to up the pressure even more. But think about it another way. Yeah. For all the horrors of what's happened in Gaza, it has provoked a lot of silence amongst governments that should have been very loud in their condemnation of it. But in some places, it has produced interesting, very powerful working class responses. Dockers in Italy, Spain, refusing to handle ships that are on their...
Yeah, that was an excellent boycott as well, and an excellent strike from the Italians, as Corbyn brings up. Just one of the excellent gestures. I remember following that on the channel as it happened on a national scale.
Way to provide arms to.
It shut the country down, pretty much. It shut the country down. Really strong display of people power.
Israel, massive demonstrations all around the world. Public opinion is way ahead of political opinion.
Apologies, not certain who that video comes from or the logo, who the logo's by or of. A prescribed optometrist group. Well, you wouldn't put it past Shabana Mahmood now, would you? Black market contact lenses. Yes, that are used to fund Iran, who fund the Hamas and the Hezbollah United FC, whoever. That's it. That's why they must be proscribed. And we won't even bother going through the courts. But Corbyn's absolutely correct, and if we're being honest, there's only really your party and the Green Party who are saying the right things at the moment. Idiosyncrasy opposes nearsightedness and supports Specsavers. Get that on the placard. Yeah, and go and take a seat next to Sue Parfitt and everybody else from Defend Our Juries, or me. Yeah, you'd be welcome sitting next to me at a protest, any of you, that's for sure. But we're going to go to hot seats next, starting in Clacton, and then building up to the Manchester Mayoral, which of course takes place in just a few days' time, people.
Today I will resign as a Member of Parliament for Clacton-on-Sea, thereby forcing a by-election.
Oh, Clacton first. Something very entertaining, in fact, to kick off with, if you've not seen this on your socials yet. A Reform councillor went door knocking in Clacton, and, well, it's very safe to say they knocked on the wrong door, because they were confronted with a very well-informed and very well-experienced, of course, 94-year-old person who knows a lot about reform. In fact, is old enough to remember a historic brand of far-right movement, shall we say, from around the Second World War era. But this is really entertaining. He got a lot more than he was bargaining for when he went down this street. Let's see what's happening. This is quality here from this 94-year-old.
My name's Justin from Reform UK. I'm here on behalf of Nigel Farage. I just wondered if we can count on your votes.
Tell me why I should vote for him.
Oh, okay. There's lots of reasons too, but what?
So tell me, give me one.
One reason.
He just wants one. Just the one. Just the one thing to have on his mind when he goes into the ballot box and puts a fucking cross next to Reform PLC UK.co.uk/recycled Tories. Just the one.
Because we're going to save the countryside.
Because what?
We will save the countryside. We're looking to reduce the numbers.
From climate change.
big, huge, large developments are going on. We are going to...
What, wind farms?
Be working for British families.
So, sorry, just repeat that. What is it he's going to do?
So, our party, I'm an Essex County Councillor, and we're already starting...
You're a councillor.
He's a councillor, not just your basic canvasser, and he doesn't seem to be able to produce much.
I am a councillor.
For which ward?
For Malden. Malden in Essex.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm up here today helping.
I think he knows where he lives. Obviously, he's in Essex, but not in Clacton itself.
Nigel for his by-election.
Yeah.
So we are looking to protect and preserve our countryside and stop the mass sprawl of housing developments going on, thus lowering, cars and.
So tell me.
Lowering cars. What? Lowering the number of cars. What, are you going all environmental now? Is it Reform that want to save the countryside? Don't tell me you've gone green, have they? Really? Won't be bullshitting on the doorstep here, would you?
Why
was it Jamie or Jason, whatever his frigging name was? Began with a J, I think.
Did he call a by-election?
And now we get on to the meat and potatoes of the real situation, don't we? Why the bloody hell is this happening in the first place, councillor? Let's see what you got to say.
So what's happened is he's the enemy of the two major parties.
Oh,
they are calling him out for.
No, he didn't have to resign. He didn't have to call a by-election.
There we go.
But
no, so he could have waited.
You've knocked on the wrong door, boyo.
Until they made a decision about his $5 million bond.
Okay.
So why didn't he wait? Why did he call it? Because what's going to happen?
Yep.
Dissatisfied people
yes.
are going to, if he's re-elected,
yes.
dissatisfied people will put in a petition to have the thing done all over again. So why didn't he wait and so that we could just have one by-election if he's found to have misplaced, but if he's ill...
This guy's older than World War II. He knows his shit. He's probably, seen a fair few elections and by-elections in his time. He knows completely the mechanics of why this is happening and the £5 million bung.
Innocent, there was no need for a by-election. So why did he preempt a by-election, which more or less guarantees that he thinks he's guilty?
And it also potentially presents the public with two opportunities to get rid of him. Even if Binface isn't successful on this occasion, there will be a second by-election as a result of the investigation. So, again, it's ridiculous logic, it's ridiculous tactics, but this is the furage that we're talking about here, of course. Guilty as sin. Yeah, you're right, idiosyncrasy. Nina Sadie with us in chat. Yeah, I hope you're good as well. Thanks for joining us. Adam Gordon's only been to Essex once, and you slept in a bush. Interesting. Circumstances there. Darren Smith, yeah, referring back to the countryside thing as well, of course, Reform being pro-fox hunting, which is, of course, a deplorable and detestable activity that needs policing a lot more as well, of course. A lot of illegal fox hunts still take place. There might even be 2 fox candidates standing in Clacton. There are now 34 in total, so I'm informed. There is Lawrence Fox, of course, the right-wing shill, and another fox, that's the guy in the fox costume who opposes hunting. And if that's taking place in Clacton, then of course it needs to stop immediately. It's abhorrent. Those people are absolute scum.
So I can tell you why he's done it, and the reason being is that at the moment the investigation into the money that they're talking about is under the control of Labour. And
no, it isn't. Yeah. It's an independent.
And I love how he sort of reels him in. Yes. He knows everything. He probably knows the answers that he's going to try and give, even before he does. It's just really well played from this guy who, at 94 years old, definitely still has his wits about him, that's for sure.
It's an independent committee. Yeah. He had no need to call a by-election. Okay. He could have waited until they gave their verdict. Okay. And if he's innocent, he could have walked free. Yeah. So he wouldn't have cost £250,000 to Clacton for a...
Well, it's over 300 grand, actually. That's one Laura Kussenberg's worth of money. If you want to bring up marks and value. Socialist economics versus capitalist economics, where the definition of value is concerned. There you go. One Clacton by-election will cost you one Laura Kussenberg.
For a by-election?
He's paying for the by-election.
So why does he want us to pay £250,000?
So I hear what you're saying. It's an independent committee that are overseeing scrutiny committee.
Yes.
Are you saying?
So that totally rules out the thing. Oh, it's the establishment coming from the two other main parties coming at him, and he's had to do this to defend himself against the establishment, which he definitely doesn't like, as he stands there in a fucking blazer and a guard's tie while he tells you he's anti-establishment. Just in case you thought you were looking at some sort of punk outfit when you observe the members of Reform in the House of Commons.
It's not independent.
I'm not entitled to say that.
No.
But the problem is, governments at the moment has influence, and things get delayed.
Oh, well, that's absolute bollocks.
Yes.
What about Posh George and all the money he's getting from him? A convicted fraudster who is his sidekick.
Yes.
So how do you cope?
And now he's bringing out the big guns, of course, yeah. His dodgy associates from the United States, convicted associates, very close associates as well. Posh George, of course, he was known as.
Stand about that.
Well, I could sit here and talk to you about Labour and the...
Again, very anti-establishment, hanging around with people with nicknames like Posh George.
Tories and
no, I don't want to talk about Labour and the Tories. I want to talk about
Nigel your Farage piece of shit.
And the corruption among his friends. Millionaires who are following the can.
And yeah, at that moment he realises just how laughable the situation is. And I've often found myself in that position as well. It's fucking insane. Go Binface. That's all I can say. And more from Binface coming up after this clip.
And all the other millionaires. And how many times he hasn't even got an office in Clacton. What has he done for Clacton?
He's got an office in Clacton.
What has he done for Clacton?
He's got an office that's gathering dust. And, there's newspapers and milk building up outside into a huge mountain with insects and pigeons fighting with other stray mammals over the milk and so on. It's getting that bad. Yeah, he's really been around, hasn't he? God knows how many air miles he's clocked up since he's been Member of Parliament, but you can count the amount of times he's been there on one hand, and you can count the amount of surgeries that he's held on 0 fingers.
Well, that's something you're going to have to ask Nigel about, because, as I say,
he's done nothing for Clacton. He's hardly ever here. Okay. He's called Nigel Mirage, because he spends more time sucking up to Trump than he does to spend in Clacton. And then he appears, blah, blah, blah.
He's done exactly what people were warned about, and a lot of them were gullible enough to be hoodwinked into voting for him nonetheless. That really is a shame. Hopefully enough of them will have genuinely learned the lesson this time. We've seen other vox pops and things from people in Clacton where they have just realised that it was a load of bullshit. That he is just, of course, the great snake oil salesman that he is. Great as in size, not in terms of quality, because he's a tosser.
All his sort of trouble.
I'm not going to change your mind.
You're certainly
not.
No.
No, you come to the wrong neighbourhood, dickhead.
Lovely day anyway. I mean, we fought for democracy by allowing the elections and fighting for the elections to go.
No, Farage is a corrupt and an absolute.
This guy was born in 1932. For fuck's sake. He's seen it all before. And of course, post-war efforts from other far-right, and then organisations like the National Front, and then things like that developed into Britain First, and then, further down the road, UKIP, all of this rebranding that went on.
Disaster.
And now here we are with the likes of Reform and Restore. So he knows exactly what's going on here.
As a politician.
I hope you're wrong, sir.
And I think if he's re-elected, he'll stand with 34 cranks. Yeah. I shall vote for.
Yes. Yes. That's the best moment, I think, of the fucking video. Out of 34 cranks, as he puts it, he's going for. Well, he is, and it's a deliberate thing, isn't it? But he's going for Binface. Binface is winning in Clacton, thanks to this very well-informed 94-year-old amongst others. Let us hope. Still a couple of weeks or so to go. That is brilliant. As annoying as video doorbells are, they do at least have some minor use on occasion. Certainly around election time as well. Another famous. Do you remember that one? I think it was the Rochdale by-election, wasn't it, when George Galloway was standing, I think, and the Labour candidate went to the door and the lady said, "No, thank you, we don't vote for Zionists." Things like that do kind of make it worth it. Well said to that 94-year-old there. I think he's just got a little bit more to say.
Because he's got a better policy than Farage. Much better.
He does.
You have a lovely evening. It was nice to meet you anyway. Yes. You take care. Bye-bye.
His joke policies are better than anything that Farage can put out. Specifically, in this by-election, I think the capping of 99p flakes is particularly impressive. That's grabbing the public's attention in Clacton. Yeah, people like that give me hope as well, Adam. That was awesome. Darren, yeah, I'll put you down as a maybe. Like he's a fucking double glazing salesman or something. It's a free quote, mate, are you sure? I mean, no obligation. And they're like, fuck off, I'm watching Deal or No Deal, or whatever people do. Anyway. Smith, yeah, he's done absolutely nothing for Clacton. But Binface will. And there is hope. And he's been putting out his latest message of hope this weekend. Let's see what's happening. Because it's Binface Fan Club weekend, apparently, people. Or it has been.
The House of Lords is, and I use this word mildly, a fucking travesty. It's the second biggest democratic second chamber in the entire world. Apparently, the only bigger one is in the Chinese Communist Party. And you know what? I reckon the Chinese body is probably very slightly more democratic. It's full of people like Lord Beefy Botham and Lord Evgeny. My dad was in the KGB, but I'm all right, Gov. Lebedev.
Yeah, for fuck's sake. Lebedev and fucking former cricketer and all of the other peers in there. It's really got to go. Regular viewers will know that I'm in favour of Citizens' Assembly, a Citizens' House, to replace the House of Lords, a real assembly that's a lot more representative.
It's abolishing pronto, and only one politician on your planet is promising it. So, if you want democratic reform, if you want sanity, believe it or not, your only choice is to vote bin face.
The hero of the hour, Count Binface. Yeah, Ian Botham is a lord. Apparently he was a cricketer in the 80s, was it? 1980s? I can't say I'm a massive cricket head myself. But yeah, he is. Loving that emoji in the chat, Bilderberg. Nice. Cometh the hour, cometh the bin. At this point in the stream, I'd just like to remind you to hit the thumbs up button, please, people, if you want to show some support. Yeah, do smash the like button. And I'm going to top up my brew here. I'm just going to make a fresh one, whilst I'll leave you with the latest Binface memes gallery. You might have seen this on our most recent video, the ultimate Binface meme gallery, but here it is, just for your entertainment now while I get a quick drink. Get this lined up. Tim, Ian Botham, Lord of Services to Alcoholism. Is he pretty keen on the sauce? Is that what he's about? Okay, you might have seen this one already, but here it is again for you to enjoy. It's always good to go through the Binface memes. And I'll be back in a couple of minutes with a fresh brew, hopefully. Thank you, Bob Ross and the Ultimate Bin Face Memes Gallery. Hope you enjoyed that one. And from that catchy tune, we'll bring back Herbie Ranger, Supersonics. Do have a few new ones yet to share with you, but we're going to save those for closer to the by-election itself. That takes place August the 13th. And we're going to move on to Manchester next. Just like this. And just like that, there's been a lot of support for Manchester internationally in this contest as well. In fact, some members of the Belgian Green Party have been over here in Manchester as part of the final week's campaign. Let's see what's happening with them, and then we're going to go into a bit more about Coggins' policies and a few promotions where that's concerned. It's getting pretty exciting here in Manchester, gotta be honest. The prospects of a first ever Green council in Greater Manchester with a new Green mayor would be absolutely fantastic. Fingers crossed. So let's see what the Belgian Greens are doing.
Hello, I'm Lynn. I'm the vice chair of the Belgian Green Party.
And I'm Ayman. I'm the leader of the Green Party in Belgium. And we came all over here to the Greater Manchester to campaign because we want the Greens to win the mayoral race here.
We want Geraldine to win.
Here you go. We're a big fan. And the reason why we came is because we know we need a big number to win. So if you're from around everywhere in England and Wales, please come enjoy this campaign. It's a beautiful one. The doors are beautiful. The people over there are super progressive and left. So come over and start making sure that we win this election.
Awesome stuff, and they have had a lot of support as well. I'm going to play another clip you might have seen before, but just some more well-known faces within the party. Hannah Spencer, Zach Polanski, Mothin Ali, those kind of people. Getting behind Geraldine Coggins as well. The turnout has been great, and I have seen Vote Green signs popping up in front of people's houses, walking around as well, so people are getting involved with this.
In a week's time, Greater Manchester could wake up with its first ever Green Mayor. Whether that happens depends on what we all do between now and polling day.
We've got real momentum. A recent poll has seen Green support surging in Greater Manchester, but we need to keep that momentum going if we're going to win.
And we know that because we've done it before. Here in Greater Manchester, a people-powered Green campaign made history.
And that's exactly how we elected Lewisham's first Green mayor. Hundreds of volunteers gave up their evenings and weekends because they believed we could win.
And it's how we elected Hackney's first ever Green mayor too. Not because we had the biggest bank balance, but because we had the biggest movement.
We weren't backed by billionaires.
We weren't bankrolled by big donors.
We won because Green volunteers got out on the doorstep.
And showed people there's a better way.
That's what wins elections. People talking to people. So the more people we have knocking on doors in this last week,
the more people we have delivering leaflets,
the more people we have talking to voters, the more communities we can reach.
And that's how we can deliver genuinely affordable homes, free buses for under 22s, thriving high streets, and a Greater Manchester that works for everyone.
The campaign with the most people on the door wins, and ours is growing every single day.
And if you've never campaigned before, don't worry. We'll match you up with an experienced volunteer and give you everything you need.
You'll meet brilliant people, have a great time, and make a real difference.
Whether it's your first time or your 50th, we'd love to have you with us.
This is how green history gets made. Not by politicians, but people like you.
So join an action day and let's elect Geraldine Coggins as the next mayor of Greater Manchester.
A shout out as well to a few friends of mine who I know have been out campaigning this weekend. And since that video was made, actually, we've seen another even more encouraging voting trend that's been released. I'll come on to that shortly, but it really does look good for Geraldine Coggins. Here's a bit more about policies. This is from some of the campaigners who I just mentioned have been out and about round our way.
Next week, we can elect our first Green Mayor of Greater Manchester, and we need young Green activists to help us make history.
This would be a gigantic moment for us in Greater Manchester, but also for Greens across the country. It would prove that Greens can win anywhere and everywhere.
With Andy Burnham in number 10, we need to apply pressure from the left to hold him accountable. Only by going out and electing Geraldine to be the mayor of our city region is this possible.
Andy Burnham will continue supporting genocide in Palestine. He'll keep ignoring the climate crisis, and he will refuse to tax the rich.
Labour continues to promise change while delivering nothing. Only the Green Party offers the change we need.
So how can you help?
We need you.
Help us win big in Greater Manchester by coming out to door knock or leaflet for Geraldine Coggins, and we can get a new Green Mayor for our city region.
And get this, we've got action days across Greater Manchester, from Stockport to Stretford, Oldham to Withington.
Follow the link in our bio to find all our action days before July 30th.
Let's replace Labour, defeat Reform, and get a Green Mayor elected, Geraldine Coggins.
Yeah, and if you do have the time this week, there's just a few days to go, people. Sorry, there's some pretty loud traffic just going nearby. Apologies for that. Wow. Yeah, that was loud. But, yeah, wherever you are in Greater Manchester, up to and including this Thursday, you do have the opportunity. You'll find the links on the Green Party website if you want to sign up. I think it'll be Joe from whoever organises all of that. So yeah, jump on board if you can. And here's why. First of all, Coggins on housing policies, and then we'll take a bit of a wider look at some of the campaign material that Geraldine's been putting out. Go, go, Coggins!
I think of some of the children I know in my ward in Altrincham, where I'm a councillor, and living in temporary accommodation. They haven't got a safe, secure place to call home. They know they could be moved at any moment, uprooted from their communities and from their schools. And I can see that this is the legacy that Labour have left us in Greater Manchester. We need to put housing at the heart of what we are doing. My plans for Homes for Greater Manchester, we want to create 20,000 new, genuinely affordable homes. 10,000 we're going to build. The other 10,000 we're going to buy, fix up and retrofit, and we're going to rent them all out at genuinely affordable rents.
There you go, explaining exactly how that's going to happen, not just Burnham's series of hollow phrases and Angela Rayner's overconfidence in her house building capabilities. 20,000 affordable, genuinely affordable homes, not just, you know, most of which going to the private sector as per Labour's plan. And there's more here. As we take a look at Geraldine's campaign booklet there. So she's already mentioned housing. I'll just kind of zoom in to each part, starting with overall. She introduces herself. Here, I'll just go through this. She says she's Geraldine Coggins, of course, and she loves Greater Manchester. She says, I moved here from Dublin to raise my family, knowing family roots in Bolton and Salford, Bury and Whalley Range. So that's all over Greater Manchester. Spent years working tirelessly for our communities as the Green Group leader in Trafford, a former educator and one of the Greater Manchester's first Green councillors. She knows how to get things done. She says, for the last 8 years, I've been invited to speak with city leaders, and I've stood up against unfair council cuts. People here are fed up and ready for real change. It's time for a Greater Manchester that works for everyone. So we've heard what she had to say about housing already. 20,000 is the target. Also, vibrant high streets and transport. She says, I will spread opportunity and revive high streets by bringing empty shops back and into use and linking everyone to a world-class transport system. Of course, Burnham's thrown a few crumbs on the table with the bus fare cap now. Again, simply undoing something that Labour did themselves, raising them earlier in the Parliament. But Geraldine Coggins, where Greater Manchester is concerned, has wider ambitions. There have been recent talks of tram network expansion, for example, and also this was admittedly one of Burnham's likely concepts that Coggins might want to undertake herself. I'm not certain if Burnham was particularly serious about this one, but a kind of underground system similar to what they have in London, apparently. Of course, that's a long-term goal. That'd be a long-term development. You couldn't really realistically expect anything like that until the mid to late 2030s, possibly. So she's got a lot to say about transports. Of course, health and climate comes into this. She will put climate and nature at the heart of every decision to protect our green spaces and create cleaner, safer neighbourhoods, she says. And, of course, finally, standing against the genocide in Gaza, one of few parties, of course, to be saying the right things about this, as well as your party, other independents, of course, but the Greens as well, say that while Labour continue to arm the genocide in Gaza, I will always stand shoulder to shoulder with our communities to demand peace and justice. And well said, and rightly so. I don't know if this will work, but if you want to read the full manifesto, I'll zoom in closer there on the QR code if you want to pause the stream and get the thing, or you could just go to the website anyway, of course. It's greenparty.org.uk, www.greenmanchester.greenparty.org.uk. Good stuff from Geraldine Coggins. We've really got our fingers crossed for her here at My Left Eye. Please shout out if you're watching live and you're from the region. Tim Moulton Davies, good point there. Yeah, the Burnham honeymoon's already over before he's even consummated the marriage. We've already seen enough. And now we get to the pièce de résistance, as it were, comrades. Because a very positive looking new poll has just come out, especially considering the source, which had to kind of double check, but alas, it is true. According to this, Labour down 25%, the Greens up 15%, Reform still behind, which, as you can see there, as trends go, puts the Greens out narrowly on top, potentially an overall control situation, but the Greens potentially ending up with the most votes. And this comes from Find Out Now, who normally strongly favour Reform. Of course, they were founded by Reform financiers or members, and that looks good. That does look good. So that's from the 13th of July. It says it shows Labour have lost 25% of all their voters across Greater Manchester. That's compared with the 24 Greater Manchester election results. That's a very, very steep decline again for Labour. Not the first time we've seen them down over 20% or higher, I should say. That happened quite a lot at the locals. And let's not forget, 4 times as many of those voters went to the Greens than they did to Reform. Good news, isn't it? That's not bad. That's not bad. we'll have a bit of that. That's good news for town. And that brings us to the end of Hot Seats. More to come during the week as we get closer to the election itself. Tense times, people. Wrong button.
Okay! Did you vote Tory? No. No one ever votes Tory, did they?
Music's too loud. The neighbours have been complaining. You just watch your steps, Sonny.
Yeah, smooth. We've got Stop the Press next. Quick example of calling out the media. This one is, well, speaks for itself, but before we do that, I owe Andrew Luke a massive shout out there and thanks for a gifted membership as we update the total to 110. Awesome, thanks for that. Andrew Luke's got his own YouTube channel, in fact, and we've collaborated quite recently as well on Screen Cleaner Series 2, Episode 1 of lots of other features on Andrew Luke's channel, which is Epinomous. So go and check that one out. 110. Big up Handy please in the chat, everybody. That is a great channel as well. From one of your genuine socialist comrades. So go and subscribe. And on that note, we'll go into Stop the Press. Thank you, Herbie. Great.
Hey, listen to this!
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Stop the pressers!
Stop the press. What's happening this time, people? Well, the P.O.V have really put the foot in it this time. A bit of an emotional faux pas, as it were, a bit of an insensitive ordering of articles on the BBC homepage. If you logged in, I think it was yesterday, there was a lot going on, of course. It's been a busy weekend. There are so many stories that I haven't mentioned so far, including the fires in the Cairngorms. Solidarity to our friends up in Scotland there. Hope everybody's keeping safe. And of course further wildfires in France and Spain as well. And the ongoing situation with the what appears to be a terrorist incident at the German Pride Festival in Berlin, the suspects having now been shot and killed at an allotment. We'll probably be coming back to that story as well. But take a look at this. We'll get on to the main point in just a moment. Obviously, if you look at those top 4 stories, pretty much everything is on fire. Which is terrifying as it is. That's not the main point I'm making, but the Madrid wildfires there, the main story, continued again with the second one. And then law student charged with intercepted bomb. Yeah. And then huge explosion and fire rips through an Essex industrial estate across the top. So a lot of combustion going on, which is terrifying. Obviously the climate crisis is terrifying. But what I'm getting at, in terms of the insensitivity that I mentioned earlier, perhaps they didn't think this one through. If you look at the other stories here on, again, this is the home page. Now, if you were in charge of which stories go in which order, on the home page here, you look on the left, man describes trying to save mother and daughter who drowned off Essex Beach. Obviously that's a terrible and tragic story there on the BBC homepage. And then to put next to it, Scotland, Scott and Rogers win golds in the swimming. Yeah, perhaps not the best place to put a story like that. What I mean, how dark do I want to go here, people? What are the BBC trying to say? Well, this one wasn't so good at swimming, but check out these guys. That's yeah, not a good look, not good optics there on the BBC homepage. Hetty, nice to see you. Thanks for a gifted membership. Solidarity. Let's update that to all the ones now. 111. As we begin to recover back towards 200. Thank you very much again, Hetty. Let's big up Hetty in the chat, everybody. So yeah, stop the press. And if anyone from the BBC is watching, please do rethink which order you put your stories in, because I'm pretty certain that that might be a bit insensitive towards the families of the victims of that tragic Essex drowning. Mainstream media, eh? What do you expect? Please do stop the press.
Who gives a dusty fuck?
Is that it?
Who gives a shit? Yeah. Oh!
I'm very disappointed.
Okay, start the presses.
That takes 4 hours.
Whatever, I'll be at Moe's.
Cotton Steve's also jumped into the chat. Nice to see as well. Moving on now.
Down with it. Yes, get on with it. Get on with it.
Across to the United States, and Trump's given another massive hint at, well, two things really. If you've not seen this clip yet, first of all, whether he means it tongue-in-cheek or not, he has declared that he will break the American Constitution and run for office again, but apparently it also confirms that he can't count up to 3, or maybe not. As we'll see as we get through this clip. And yeah, do you think he means it or is he bluffing? Let's see what's happening, people. To the pumpkin spice Palpatine.
Okay, but we are all doing good together. That's why tonight, to show just how much I care about the press and...
Yes, who you've shown so much adoration for in the past and not, you know, given a series of displays of laying into members of the press in an abundance of clips. I think I can detect a bit of a sense of sarcasm in his voice as well from the offset. I think this is how Trump, in his juvenile, sort of jock kind of way, tries to set up a joke at someone's expense.
I want to save your ratings. I'm pleased to announce my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a fourth term as President of the United States.
A fourth, yes, a fourth term. Now, when I first saw this clip yesterday, a short time after he announced it, I thought, well, the dementia must be really kicking in. Either he can't count to 3, he can't count to 4, or he thinks he's in his third term now. What the fuck is going on? But no, it turns out, of course, he's doing the I won the election, that I lost fair and square bit yet again, and counting Joe Biden's term as his third, when in fact, God, it really is batshit crazy, isn't it, when you think about it. Let's crack on.
I will be doing that. I will be having an official. In fact, I think I have. Yeah. I won 3 times.
You didn't.
And I'm going to do it again.
Oh, God.
Thank you. I'm going to do it. Should be.
You couldn't break the Constitution, are you? Well, should send you straight off to a federal prison then, shouldn't they? He's just announced he wants to break the Constitution.
Easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times, did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it. You know,
God.
It's interesting, when you come back and you do a good job like we did, and you don't care about it so much, but we do have to tighten up these elections because they really are in seriously bad shape.
I think he's referring to the midterms, of course. This was at the White House dinner that he made this announcement. Mad as a box of spanners. It really is. Box of spanners, bag of frogs. I mean, genuinely, can he be arrested just for saying that, even if he tries to play it off as a joke or a prank? What, and he thinks that's going to help him with the win the midterms? Don't think so. Profusion of delusion, like that one, Darren. How many times does it have to be put to him that in no uncertain terms Joe Biden won the election? He lost. He's the sorest loser in the world, I guess. Perhaps alongside Elon Musk. Running from the law, yeah, of course, his presidential position offers him so much judicial protection, doesn't it, of course, and immunity. The moment that goes, the moment he could go as well. But of course it should happen immediately. But we will stick with the United States and move on to something a bit better now. Someone who actually talks a lot more sense. And this brings us on to Gaza as well. As the mayor of New York, Zoran Mamdani, in no uncertain terms, talked about his stance on the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu, who of course is an international war criminal. This was very refreshing to see.
Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, the architect of a horrific genocide against the Palestinian people. He is responsible for the killing of more than 73,000 people, for the maiming of tens of thousands of children as those who survive undergo amputation without anesthesia, for the targeting of neonatal hospitals and maternity care centers, denying newborns even the chance to live, for the countless people he starved as he blocked food and humanitarian aid from reaching them, for the gunning down of hundreds of aid workers and journalists. And just last month, the UN confirmed that Palestinian children continue to be deliberately targeted and killed by Israeli armed forces, more than 8 months after the so-called ceasefire. The list goes on and on, all as we, as Americans, pay for the bombs that do the killing. There is a reason the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest. As human beings, we have spent generations building a shared understanding that there are crimes so grave they offend all of humanity. Anyone, with their eyes, with their heart, with their conscience, should recognize the devastation he has wrought and understand that he belongs before a court of law.
And it is the most clear-cut sort of judgment of people's conscience and consciousness, what's happening in Gaza. It really does people's view spell out who they are as people. And I've had many disagreements, unfortunately, with people who I know personally as well. And on that and other issues have, unfortunately, had to, sort of turn my back on people I've known for a long amount of time as well. And it's awful, but it really is clear cut.
As I've said, I agree with the ICC that Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested and tried for his crimes, as I do for anyone else charged by the ICC. My administration has reviewed every avenue available under applicable law to determine whether New York City could execute the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant if Benjamin Netanyahu came here. It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant. The federal government, however, does, and I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant. And I want
Yeah, so a New York cop can't arrest Netanyahu. That's just within the framework of the legislation itself, where the application of international arrest warrants are concerned. And you don't want Benjamin Netanyahu, if arrested, to get off on some bullshit cop-out like that, a legal technicality, as it were, within the arrest procedure. Because that would be a complete injustice. It has, unfortunately, got to be done properly and immediately. But unfortunately, so far, we've seen ICC signatory countries allow Netanyahu not just to travel over their countries, but also to land in their countries. And someone has really got to step up. Because what's the point of having international law if it's not applied? What is the point of these institutions?
I want to be equally clear. Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City, nor is any other war criminal at large. While we cannot end the genocide on our own, we can decide whether our silence will become another weapon, and we can examine every tool we have to defend the humanity and dignity of all people. That is my commitment to you.
Well said, Zoran Mamdani there, Mayor of New York City. Thanks for throwing up the flags. Excuse me. We'll start again where that's concerned. Thank you very much indeed for throwing up the Palestine flags there, Eddie. Elsewhere in the Middle East, of course, Iran continued to show their resolve against a series of attacks from the United States for around 2 weeks in a row now. Yeah, apparently the country who we were told were defeated for years and decades, apparently are still capable of defending themselves. Yeah, and no nearer to a proper ceasefire where that's concerned, but yeah, that story's old news as ever. How many times have we been there? Okay, good people. It's time to give a shout out to all the good people who make up the membership on the channel. Thank you very much for the gifted memberships on tonight's stream. 111 now, towards 250. And all of your comments and shares help as well where recent content's concerned. Please do keep the hype going where that's concerned, and hit the hype button if you're watching on a mobile device. Yeah, if you're on a phone or a laptop, smash thumbs up. It should prompt you to give some hype points. They're completely free. Just gives us a boost on the algorithm. Thanks for all of your help on the channel. Of course, that indicates we are getting towards the end of stream, but stick around towards the end as always. And we will be raiding this time into Alec Gunter, actually. Usually on a Sunday, we tend to raid into No Justice or Kev Logan. Looks like they're not about at the moment, so we'll go into Alec Gunter. Still quality streaming, of course. Hit thumbs up and show some support once we get there. It also feels a bit weird not ending on a Keith's Fondue Lounge again, as is the usual Sunday custom. We're hoping to be able to provide a suitable replacement shortly. Just double check that you've hit thumbs up before we get to the end of the stream. And I will thank you for your presence, of course, as always. This has been another Sunday live stream on My Left Eye. I've been your humble host, Lefty. I'll finish by saying power to the people, free Palestine, Lebanon, Sudan and Yemen. Don't let the bastards grind you down, don't watch the news, be the news. And My Left Eye will be seeing you soon. Good night and solidarity. Happy Socialist Sunday, people. Good night.
It's what Hitler and Goering did, and it is textbook. And if you think the next time it happens, we're gonna recognize it because they're wearing scary uniforms, you're out of your damn mind.